Everyone knows self-improvement can be tough.
This is some kind of a scam or joke or something, isn't it?
No.
Oh my God! Did you see the green stuff? That's what happens when you crack open a lobster.
He sounds like he needs to talk to somebody. That's all I can say.
Check out our new podcast, Personal Best, a self-improvement show for people who don't like self-improvement.
I'm trying my best! Oh, that felt great.
Subscribe now wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
This is a CBC podcast.
The following is a special presentation from the Debaters Fact and Funny Hall of Fame. Stay tuned for a classic episode airing for the very first time since its original broadcast season.
Hey Canada, let's start this show while we're all Neil young enough to enjoy it. From Winnipeg, Manitoba, it's the Debaters! The Debaters, where comedians fight with facts and funny, and this audience picks the winner. Now here's a man who's still rocking in the free world, Steve Patterson.
Hey! Hello Canada! Hello Winnipeg! Welcome back to the Debaters. We are back here in Winnipeg. Winnipeg, of course, is a Cree word meaning muddy water. True story. Muddy water. Think about that the next time you go to a place called Winnipeg Car Wash. You know, during car wash season, those 8 days between the last flood and the first freeze. Are you guys ready for a pair of debaters who are sure to make a splash? What do you say? That sounds like a yes. When this comic attacks buskers, she goes for the juggler. It's Lara Ray! Lara Ray, ladies and gentlemen. There she is, making her way to the podium to my left. And this comic thinks if you avoid open windows, you're a draft dodger. Here's Bruce Clark. Bruce Clark, making his way to the podium to my right. Confident as
here we
always.
go. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Your debate concerns people. Can they change? Can people change? Lara, this is a good one for you.
Yes.
Quite a bit's happened since the last time you were on the show. For instance, you changed your gender.
That is true. And for those of you at the back, to female.
That's right. You've changed your gender. You've transitioned. You didn't do this just to reset your 4 wins and 36 loss debating record, did you?
Yes, I did. I'm at 0-0.
Soon to be 0-1. So.
Well, Bruce, you haven't changed. Let's just get into this debate. Whereas many psychologists believe our personalities are set in early childhood, be it resolved that people don't change. Bruce, quite obviously you're arguing for this. You have 2 minutes starting now.
Generally speaking, people don't change. Human beings are creatures of habit. Look at the facts. Only a very small percentage of people give up drinking, especially in Winnipeg. Which isn't as bad as it seems, because nobody likes a quitter. Some scientists actually think free will doesn't exist. MRIs have revealed that the brain makes the decision before you can consider logic. Lara Ray is an idiot. That was my brain talking. It wasn't me. I'd like to change that, but I can't. To quote Leonard Skinner's classic Freebird, Lord knows I can't change. And believe me, if they could, Leonard Skinner would have at least changed their flight plan.
Too soon.
They say people change in the face of diversity. Not true. You want proof? The Toronto Maple Leafs still have fans. Even prisons don't change people. Recidivism rates are high because people are who they are. The lowest recidivism rate is that of women who kill their husbands after they finally realized they couldn't change them. Humans are creatures of habit, so please don't fall for the idea that a leopard can change its spots simply because my dear friend Lara has become a cougar.
Bruce Clark, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't think people can change. Now, to tell us why the more things change, the more they don't stay the same, it's never the same old, from Lara Ray.
Thank you. People change, Bruce Clark. Winston Churchill was a drunk and an embarrassment when he waved the red flag about rising German aggression as a parliamentary backbencher in the early 1930s. Then he ushered in Britain's finest hour and won the war before returning to being a drunk and an embarrassment. And then there's me, Bruce. As some of you know, I was once one of the most unsuccessful debaters in the history of the show. Then 9 months ago, I changed. It began as a choice to medically correct my gender dysphoria, not by myself, with the help of a doctor. It's not something you want to leave to the YouTube videos. But soon these changes were out of my control. My endocrine system has been upended, and my mind and my emotions have changed and are driven by estrogen. I am going through menopause and puberty at the same time. I'm kind of like Hurricane Lara. Terrifying. And even my thinking has changed. I no longer feel I have to get big laughs to impress Steve Patterson. That's no longer a thing for me. Though I do find him very attractive. That's a big change. Take it. People change, except Rex Murphy. Thank you.
Lara Ray, ladies and gentlemen. A very convincing argument. We're going to shift 180 degrees, folks, because it's time for the bare knuckle round. We're asking if people can really change, so debaters, psyche yourself up for a transformative battle. And don't be afraid to couch your arguments. If you find yourself singing the same old tune, just revamp, U-turn on your opponent now.
I will say, my friend Lara, we have known each other for 25 years. We lived together in Vancouver in a 300-square-foot bachelor apartment. And I know you today. I know something about you that is still the same. You hate mayonnaise.
Is this true?
Yes, yeah.
Try liking mayonnaise. Try to change and like mayonnaise.
Forgive me for not liking egg whites that have been in the fridge for 4.5 years. Do you like black mold on your sandwich, too?
Black mold? I'm surprised you don't like black mold because you're Scottish, and I believe it's the primary ingredient for haggis, is it not?
This is taking a different direction than I thought it would.
That was a weird way to go.
Yeah, well...
This is why we deify people who change, right? I mean, St. Paul. St. Paul.
On the road to Damascus.
Thank you. Persecuted Christians. And then he became a Christian so he could persecute Jews. This is a change.
Bruce, how do you respond to this?
Please vote for me.
That's the bare knuckle round, everybody. It's time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have a list of questions on People Don't Change, brought to you by butterflies. Butterflies, who would like to remind humans you can't blame everything that goes badly on your evil inner caterpillar. One poll found that 78% of people who have gender reassignment surgery were happier where?
Oh, I know Bruce. This one. In their pants. Oh.
There's no way I can...
I'm sorry, Laura. That wasn't offensive, was it?
I think that's pretty much true.
Okay. If Laura says it's true, it's true.
Definitely true.
Happier in
I
their
do know
pants.
I think the answer here is that they report that they're happier at work, at the workplace.
True. Right answer, Lara. This is your workplace right now. Are you happy?
I'm very happy.
Okay.
Because I'm winning.
What personal change did Christian Bale make to prepare for his starring role in the movie Batman Begins? Bruce Clark.
I know this one. He gained 100 pounds.
That is right. He's right.
True.
He gained 100 pounds so we could look more like the original Batman, Adam West.
Adam West. in the baby blue underoos. Because if there's anything that hides a paunch, it's baby blue underoos. Good answer.
With his friend Robin.
3 points, yeah. In Navajo legend, the changing woman grows old by winter, but then does what? Lara?
In spring, she changes into a pothole.
Incorrect. Anyone else like to try?
Oh, I was going
Hey,
to say
Bruce?
she just goes to Palm Springs.
Some of
Where
us
I
have
live.
that option.
You
yeah,
were
I know
thinking
you
of
did.
yourself, as you often do. Yeah.
The actual answer, according to Navajo legend, changing woman grows old by winter, but becomes young in spring.
Yeah.
Deep. That's the firing line, everybody. All right. It's almost time for our Regent Event Center Theater audience to pick a winner. But first, here again to tell us why the only thing that's constant is change. Once again, it's Lara Ray.
People change. It's why we celebrate transformations of any kind, overcoming obstacles. Lance Armstrong. Do you know how committed you have to be doping and going through chemo at the same time? That takes ball.
Bruce Clark did a rim
That's
shot.
a terrible but very funny joke.
That was great.
And look at me. Were I to lose this debate, now that I've changed, I will cry. Heaving, sobbing, unrelenting cries. You, the audience, will have made a transgender person, a marginalized minority, sad. If that's the kind of people you are, you can change.
Lara Ray, ladies and gentlemen. Lara Ray is pro-change. She has set this audience up like maybe no other audience in our history. And now, with the enviable task of arguing against that, to echo the words of Popeye, I am what I am. Here's more anti-change chuckles from Bruce Clark.
The worst thing about people who think they've changed is listening to them. You ever talk to a sanctimonious vegan? I don't eat any animals or anything from animals. Well, what about eggs? Eggs? Are you kidding? Eggs could turn into the chicken that could cure cancer one day. What we should do is change the laws so we can eat vegans. That's what we should do. Look, I'm debating my dear friend Lara, one of my closest friends who is transgendering into a fine woman. Sure, it may have been easier for me to argue that Hitler wasn't such a bad guy. All I ask, that if you've made up your mind that Lara has won the debate, please consider changing.
Clever.
Think about it. If you change your mind and vote for me, you're actually agreeing with Lara.
Bruce Clark. Woo! Bruce Clark. He may have changed our minds. He may have blown our minds. I don't know what's just happened. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to pick a winner. By your applause, who agrees with Bruce's no change chatter? Bruce Clark. Okay, nice support. And who thinks Lara's pro-change debate was a nice change of pace? Lara Ray. The audience has spoken. The winner and undefeated debater at 1-0, Lara Ray, ladies and gentlemen.
I knew it would work.
You did it. Big hand for Lara Ray and Bruce Clark, everybody.
You're listening to The Debaters on CBC Radio 1. If you want to listen to our program live or on demand anytime, make sure you download the CBC Listen app. And now, back to Steve Patterson.
Everyone knows self-improvement can be tough.
This is some kind of a scam or joke or something, isn't it?
No.
Oh my god. Did you see the green stuff? That's what happens when you crack open a lobster.
He sounds like he needs to talk to somebody. That's all I can say.
Check out our new podcast, Personal Best, a self-improvement show for people who don't like self-improvement.
I'm trying my best! Oh, that felt great.
Subscribe now wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Hey, Winnipeg, are you ready to meet your next pair of debaters? You're in for a treat, my friends. This comic believes in a kinder Kindler world. It's Andy Kindler. Andy Kindler, ladies and gentlemen. One of our very favorites. He's back. I'm back, baby. I'm back. And this comedian remembers when Beyonce was just a fiancé. It's DeAnne Smith. DeAnne Smith taking the podium to my right. I don't like to overestimate the importance of debates, but some of them are the most important things in the world, and this is one of those things. Your debate is pencils versus pens. Which are superior? People who have come to these live tapings know that I make notes during these debates. I happen to be using a pen. Sometimes I use a pencil. Oh. You may wonder what I've been writing during these debates, so I'm just going to read some of the things that are in this book right now. Jesus or Superman? Who would win that fight? When Kanye West dies, will his ashes go in a West urn? Trying to find a place for that. P.S. Remind Anna to put more vodka in my water bottle. So, whereas this trustworthy and dependable writing instrument has been used for millennia now, be it resolved that the pencil is mightier than the pen. DeAnne, you're arguing for this, please. You have 2 minutes, starting now.
The pencil is the chosen tool of two of society's most esteemed and beloved groups, artists and golfers. Pencils are dependable, even in extreme environments. Unlike pens, which are reliant on gravity to get their precious ink flowing, pencils can be used in space. In space! Which is where we're all headed after we destroy this planet with non-biodegradable plastic pens, which I'm pretty sure is our main environmental problem. Pens are killing us. Pencil crayons are all the rage right now. Adult coloring books are popular, helping people relax and tap into their artistic sides. Pens don't help you do that. Pens want you to sign a mortgage, do your taxes, and move out of your parents' basement. Not pencils, man. Pencils want you to color and have fun. It's like kindergarten, but with more drinking. The pencil is the tool of the philosopher, the dreamer, the fuzzy and non-committal among us. Pencils are for first drafts, not last wills and testaments. I'll pencil you in, we say, knowing that life is unpredictable and that we don't really want to hang out with that guy anyway. Pencils give us freedom. Thank you.
DeAnne Smith. She loves her pencils. She's given a passionate opening argument. Now, to tell us why the pen is mightier than the sword and the pencil, here's Canada's favorite American pen pal, Andy Kindler.
No, you're eating into my time. You should have used a pencil for that opening statement, DeAnne, and then erased it. And if I were you, I would start penciling in a concession speech. And that's just the first of several of those style of jokes. I use a pen because I'm a man and I'm decisive. I'm not saying DeAnne uses a pencil because she's a woman who can't make up her mind, dresses, aprons, but it's implied. Also, she's Canadian. She can't write one sentence without backtracking, erasing, and apologizing. That's right! I killed 2 stereotypes with 1 Jew. Pencils are bad. Au contraire. Pencils are bad for the environment. Just 5 indecisive people using erasers can produce over 3,100 tons of tiny rubber fragments that could contain asbestos. If I make a mistake with a pen, I just cross it out and move on. I don't get rid of the evidence by erasing it like Nixon. Pens say what they mean and mean what they say. That's why Sean Penn is named Sean Penn and not Sean Pencil. He's tough. He interviewed a Mexican drug king, not a pencil pusher. Genius! Like a genius wrote this. I rest my opening statement.
Andy Kindler, ladies and gentlemen. He's a champion of pens and actually deconstructing his own argument as he goes, and that saves us a lot of time. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
We got all the right stuff, folks. So it's time for the bare knuckle round. We're asking if the pencil is mightier than the pen, so debaters, let me draw you a picture. If you want to ink the deal and permanently erase your opponent's argument, get the lead out, dip into your fountain of knowledge, and start bickering. As that great writer Shakespeare once said, to be or HB? That is the question. Prove that all's well that ink well and get to your fine points now.
Is this the bare knuckles round?
This is the bare knuckle round, Andy.
Hey, DeAnne.
Yeah, Andy?
A 12-year-old boy called. He wants his haircut back.
Okay, it's getting a little personal now. Let's leave the haircuts out of this.
This will not stand.
I do appreciate your image-based humor on the radio, though, Andy. That's good. And I loved your Nixon reference. Very current. Keeping up with the times. Classic Kindler.
You're gay! She's gay! She's gay!
I hate to nitpick, guys, but can we talk about pens and or pencils?
Yes. Well, pencils are the best. They're the best.
Well, that's weak.
Okay, it is. You know what? Okay, you can be dramatic with it. Here's a great ending. You can be dramatic with a pencil. You can make a point. If you get angry at someone's personal attacks, you could break a pencil to make a point. Let's see if I'm strong enough to do this.
Okay, DeAnne, she cracked the pencil! That's the bare knuckle round, everybody!
Now I have two pencils.
Penmanship. Penmanship.
It's too late. It's over.
Oh, it's over.
She's given me half the pencil as a warning, I think. Thank you, DeAnne.
No, in friendship.
Oh, in friendship. Good.
Friendship.
Here we go. It's time now for the firing line. In my hand, I have half a pencil and a list of questions on pens versus pencils brought to you by Tiny Golf Scorecard Pencils. They do make your hands look large, but they don't make your scores any smaller. Horror writer Stephen King credits his Waterman fountain pen with what? DeAnne Smith.
Making him creepier. It's filled with blood.
I like that. Andy Kindler.
It allowed him to get his writing schedule from 14 hours a day up to 19 hours a day. He writes a lot. Come on. Read one of his books if you can get through it.
That's not what I have here. But it's actually in the right spirit. He uses the Waterman fountain pen because it makes him slow down and consider each word. Each terrifying word. Thanks, Stephen, you freak. That's not written there. Why did Edmonton experience a pencil crayon shortage in 2015?
People were using adult coloring books to forget that they lived in Edmonton.
Correct answer!
Yeah.
The popularity of adult coloring books really took Edmonton by storm.
Edmonton stinks! Edmonton stinks! Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, Andy, this might be a bit biased. You might have the inside track on this because you've been a guest on Letterman numerous times. What was special about the pencils that David Letterman and, as it turned out, Johnny Carson would fiddle with at their desks on their shows?
To give you a chance to try.
Oh, okay, he's going to let DeAnne go first.
I happen to know this one.
That's very nice.
Go ahead there. Hazard a guess, literally.
They use them to draw caricatures of Jay Leno.
That's a pretty good answer. Not right.
They have erasers on both ends, so when they throw them, it doesn't hurt anybody.
That's the correct answer. And I always wondered that. It erases on both ends so they don't hurt anyone when they throw them. Thank you, Andy Kindler, for a correct and accurate answer. That is the firing line, everybody. We are learning something today. All right. It's almost time for our theater audience to pick a winner. But first, here again to poo-poo the pencil. It's the penultimate, Andy Kindler.
Yeah. Whoever said the pen is mightier than the sword has never been attacked with a sword. They didn't use a pencil to sign the Declaration of Independence. They used a pen because it was a declaration of independence, not a request for independence or a laundry list of independence. They didn't say, let's use a pencil so we have wiggle room on this independence thing. Pencils were great when the only other writing instrument was a piece of coal, and the only thing people could think of to write was, help, I'm stuck in a mine. Pencils are for people stuck in the past. It wasn't that long ago in our history when it was considered okay to use the term colored pencils. You heard me. I'm saying if you conclude pencils are better than pens, you're a racist!
Andy Kindler, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Andy.
I won?
Not yet. And maybe not at all. Let's see. Now here again to tell us why she thinks pencils are more sharp. It's one of Canada's sharpest comics, DeAnne Smith.
Pencils come in a rainbow of colors, ideal for expressing the joy radiating from one's soul. Pens come in black and blue, sometimes red, colors colloquially referred to as Satan's palette. Have you heard the phrase, put lead in your pencil? It goes like this. Eat a few oysters. That'll put some lead in your pencil. It's British, cheeky, and sexual. Have you heard the phrase, stab you with my penknife? It goes like this. Hey, I'm gonna stab you with my penknife. It's dangerous, violent, and not sexual. Unless you're into that sort of thing, Andy. Not to overstate it, but people that prefer pens are devil-worshipping murderers. Those of us that prefer pencils are joy-filled sexual gods. Thank you.
DeAnne Smith with a very sharp argument indeed on behalf of pencils. It is up to the audience to decide which wildly overstated argument wins. Audience, it is up to you to decide who the winner is. By your applause, who liked DeAnne's pointed pencil pontifications the best? DeAnne Smith! A lot of love for DeAnne. And who preferred Andy's pro-pen plan panned out? Andy Kindler. Okay. It's very close, but I have to give this one to DeAnne Smith. The pencil's mightier than the pen. Big hand for DeAnne Smith and Andy Kindler, everybody.
Anti-Semites!
That's all for this week, everybody. I'm Steve Patterson saying, don't pencil or pen us in for next week. Put it in your smartphone already. I'll argue with you again soon, Canada. Good night!
The Debaters is created by Richard Side. This week's episode was produced by Graham Clark, Nicole Callender, and Josh Bailey. Our classic debates were produced by Richard Side, Graham Clark, Anna Bonikoski, and Philip Ditchburn. With technical production by Brian Harder and help from Lloyd Peterson and Greg Boboski. And Tracy Rideout is the executive producer of CBC Radio Comedy. Hey, Debaters fans, we have a podcast. Go to cbc.ca/The Debaters for more.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.